Sorry, we didn't order a pizza.
Supreme victory!
Law & Order SVU has been on for 7,000 years, and they're back with another season. And as we all know, they try to keep their finger on the internet pulse. A couple of years ago, they made a video that was linked to Gamergate.
What happened?
These guys, they just can't stand women in gaming.
What did they do to you?
They leveled up.
And now they happen to be going after the incel community. And what is an incel? Well, if you don't know, you're gonna find out very soon, and you're also in for a very, very special treat. Notice the assailant calls the dude bro Chad, and then he calls the hot hoe Stacy.
He kept on calling me Stacy. I don't know anyone named Stacy.
The scumbag called Rick Chad.
And you kept calling Ann Stacy.
So if you haven't figured it out by now, it's one of those unanimous things that the name Chad and Stacy are the dude bros and the dudettes that are always good looking, and they get all the guys and girls, and they're just the best ones. They have everything handed to them. And so it kind of just like comes with the territory. When you get a certain name, if you're Chad, you're gonna have to live up to that name. If you're given a name like Stacy, you pretty much have to live up to that name. So if you have a cool name, you're probably gonna be cool. If you have a nerdy name like Melvin or something, chances are you're probably gonna be a fucking nerd.
If everybody has to sign in, then have the pizza guy get upstairs without you knowing.
Sometimes it gets real busy with deliveries. You must slip by. Happens.
Maybe you took a walk for a cigarette, a cup of coffee, smoke a joint?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Why is this guy gotta be smoking a joint? I don't wanna like immediately jump to the whole racist card, but
Do you have any Chad and Stacy's living in this building?
Hey! Shut the fuck up!
so Jake is their first lead.
Hey, Jake!
Jake! Get in the car! I didn't do anything! Yeah, why are you running then, huh?
It is absolutely beyond me how this show has been on this long. I've enjoyed some of the episodes before. I used to watch it and whatnot, but it's the same formula. Oh, here's the first suspect. The guy's like, oh, what's going on? And then he just runs away. Happens every single time. I'm like, hey guys, you know, how are you still watching this? You know exactly what's gonna happen. And you know the first suspect is never the actual assailant, the guy that actually did it, this actual suspect. It never works out that way. But, you know, whatever, they still gotta fill 40 minutes.
I didn't order a pizza, and my name isn't Chad.
Stacy, you're a bitch. Stacy, you're a whore.
We got another Chad.
Ann Stacy.
So after another Chad and Stacy get assaulted, Detective Chad finally does some police work so they can narrow down what's going on with all these Chads and Stacys.
I put the names Chad and Stacy through RTC, Accurate, TLO. I got nothing. Then I tried the dark web. A lot of stuff came up.
Oh, you had to go to the dark web. You had to go to the dark web to find out what Chad and Stacy is? Like, I'm pretty sure all you needed was one Google search, and then you can find things on YouTube, you can find things on the Forever Alone subreddit, you can find things on Know Your Meme, you can find things on Urban Dictionary, you can find things on Wikipedia, you can find things all over that thoroughly explain what Chad and Stacy is. And let's do that right now. Now, if you look at Chad in his depiction, he is just the dudest bro that you could ever imagine. He's absolutely packing and he's just oozing confidence. And let's start with his stride, because it's very important to have a good stride for people can really respect you and know who the hell you are. Has figured out how to always look everyone in the eye at once at all times. Does not register emotions or feelings of others at all. Intentionally slaps and batters incoming traffic to make his own path. And my favorite description, hands always prepared to grab near fertile pussy, arms constantly flailing in confident, unpredictable ways. Now there's many versions of Chad, and a lot of times they're versus a virgin. You know, it's like Chad versus the virgin, right? And we don't need to get into that very much though, because we're gonna talk about virgins and incels as the episode progresses, but I wanna touch upon the Stacys now.
The name Stacy is not a specific person. A Stacy is any woman that an incel wants but cannot get.
We all know the Stacy. We've seen the Stacys. Anytime you hear the word Stacy, you kind of know what a Stacy looks like.
Let's bake some cookies for the boys. Come on, Stacy.
So let's look at her description just a little bit. Big tits and an ass to show fertility. Yep, makeup on point, usually. Sometimes it's caked on a little bit too much, but hey, to each their own. Fucks Chad, of course. Sexy, majestic, long blonde hair. Naturally curvy body gives men instant erection. Never works a day in her life, lives in luxury. So now that you heard a little bit of that, let's continue with what Detective Chad has to say to Ice-T and the other lady that's not Stabler.
That guy in Toronto, he was an incel.
He's their patron saint. I mean, this guy drove a van through a crowd of people because he wasn't getting any.
Oh yeah, they're talking about that douchebag Alec or whatever that killed a few people in a van attack earlier this year, where he was one of those sexually frustrated incels they talk about. And for people that don't know, incel is involuntary celibacy. Like if you're an involuntary celibate because you can't get any, but you want some, and then you just get super frustrated and you start a community, and then every once in a while you get some crazy people that are just so frustrated that they do something, like Elliot Rodger. And I think this guy Alex actually looked up to Elliot, and then he acted out too. And luckily, most people are just mad and stay home and jerk off, but every once in a while you get some crazies that do some wild stuff. But let's continue with this episode because it's still much juicier.
There's absolutely no reason for anybody to be involuntarily celibate. That's why God invented hookers.
No, sex workers are part of the problem. I mean, to these guys, a man shouldn't have to pay for sex. A woman should want to please any man, anytime. You
know, there actually is a small percentage of incels that actually think like that. I have a friend that worked with a friend that was just like that. And even on the subject of like, hey, why don't you go and pay for sex? Or why don't you get an app? Why don't you go on Tinder or something? It's like, no, I shouldn't have to do this. And why doesn't so-and-so like me? Like, I'm so great. And it's like, what are you talking about? You're a fucking loser, bro. You need to get your shit together, just ooze confidence, and you'll be fucking chill. That's what it comes down to, right? Confidence. We should all know this.
Welcome to the 17th century.
And populated by Chad, Stacy's, Normies, and Omegas.
The last letter of the Greek alphabet?
Bottom of the totem pole, rejected by those on top.
So this is interesting to me because I've never heard of the term Omega, like an incel or somebody who can't get laid refer to themselves as an Omega person or whatever. And I actually had to look this up and see if there was any truth to that. They're like, do any of these people call themselves Omegas? And it's like, yeah, to a certain extent, I see some people, they see it as like, oh, I'm an Omega, I'm a lone wolf. I'm not a part of this hierarchy, I'm different. Some other people do say, oh, bottom of the totem pole, but that's not what they're considering themselves. A lot of these dudes are considering themselves like, oh, I'm different, I'm aloof, you know, I'm strange, and that's okay, and you know, kind of mysterious, and girls should like me because of that. It's really interesting terminology. I think it's all horseshit. Like even the whole alpha, beta, and all that stuff. Like I understand why there's alpha and beta. Like there are dudes that are just like, oh yeah, I'm an alpha male, whatever. If they're saying something like they're an alpha male, it's probably like you're probably a little bit insecure. And then we see the obvious beta males. We see the guys that are all slumped over, the glasses are super thin, and then they always date girls that are complete bitches. And I'm talking about like they're just some of the worst women on the earth because they're so controlling, and they're like, look at this scrawny little bitch, I can have my way with him, he's mine. And it never fails. So finally we get to meet an incel in this episode, and he's not like the most hideous person ever. Looks a little bit like Mark Zuckerberg. Maybe that's what they're going for because, you know, obviously Mark Zuckerberg, he's an android, he's weird. I don't know if he would be able to get laid without having all those billions of dollars, but that's besides the point. We're about to hear something very interesting.
You said you were mad at her because she couldn't get you into the sex party.
A sex party? Like, do these things actually happen like outside of like the rich elite with their mask on? I mean, where are these sex parties and why haven't I been invited to one?
Yeah, Riley, she said that you raped her.
Impossible.
Impossible? Why? Because she's lying, Stacy?
Because there's no such thing as rape.
What? How could you possibly believe that? How could...
I gotta hear this.
What's in the Constitution, right? All men are created equal. We're entitled to life, liberty, and happiness. And sex makes us happy.
That is the stupidest logic ever. But has this actually been said by somebody like this? Is there an incel that actually thinks this? Because come on, man, I would have to imagine like that line of thinking is the stupidest. Like, how could you possibly believe that? That'd be like me saying, oh, yeah, the pursuit of happiness is me having a lot of money. Money makes me really happy, so it's totally fine for me to rob banks because I need money to be happy and I'm entitled to happiness. What the, what?
Chris Carnassus. He lives in Riverdale. He works at a Whole Foods, but he didn't kill anyone.
Oh boy, Mr. Chris is Apex incel.
Hurry up, Mom, your soup's getting cold.
Hey, yo, Chris, put your hands above your head, please. You heard what she said, put your hands up.
Look at that guy, he's so adorable.
But the thousands of self-pitying souls comprising the incel does.
The what?
Just picture it as an online rape and mass murder club.
Damn bitches are lying.
See, that's not fair. I'm pretty sure the vast majority of incels, you know, people that can't get laid, don't want to do anything heinous. I think they just want some vagina. I think that's the extent of their frustration, and they don't want to kill people and whatnot. I think that's what that is, and this show is kind of painting all of these guys as if that's all they want to do is just rape and murder. Like, ooh, all you Chads and Stacys, I'm gonna get you.
The Omegas are rising.
The Omegas are rising.
We're gonna get what we're owed.
So finally, after a bunch of nonsense, they find the guy who orchestrated it all, and you know, his online handle, Iron Cross. You gotta love that. It's nice, by the way. And you know, of course, with just a little bit of Jedi mind tricks, they get him to spill the beans.
Why did you do this to me?
Because you're ignorant. You're not entitled to love. You're not entitled to anything.
But you are.
You're damn right I am. Chad and Stacy and Chad, winners of the genetic lottery, flaunting it to the rest of us.
I took what was mine.
And that was pretty much it for the episode, and I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It made me laugh quite a bit. It was really nice hearing all those Chad and Stacy just thrown in there just all throughout it. But to the Omegas, to the incels, to the guys that are just having trouble getting laid, I am not gonna just leave you in the dust like these people. I'm gonna give you my 3-step plan on how to carry yourself and become a Chad. So step number 1 is you gotta look good to feel good, and the best way to do that is start with your personal hygiene. Now, one thing that a lot of people miss is grooming themselves downstairs. So what you gotta do is check out my sponsor, manscaped.com, and you gotta get yourself the perfect package because it has everything you need to get your shit clean. In the perfect package contains the Lawnmower 2.0, which is a rechargeable and waterproof razor that is gonna get you all nice and cleaned up. And I kid you not, I used to use just my regular clippers and I would cut myself all the time. But this is actually really legit and I really appreciate it. You're gonna get the Plow, which is a dope safety razor, which actually gives you a nice, very close, clean shave. You're gonna get some body wash, which you need to wash yourself every damn day. And this one's really important, the preserver to put on your balls, man, to keep them from chafing, keep them nice and fresh. And then when you need them to be revived, you're gonna get the Reviver. You just spray it on here and you're gonna be good, man. And my favorite thing in this package is the cologne Refined. I kid you not, I've been using the same colognes, the same 2 colognes since I was 10 years old, and I smelled this and I'm like, oh, I'm actually gonna start using this now. I kid you not, no bullshit. And it also comes with these pretty cool shaving mats. So gentlemen, you gotta do yourselves a favor and go to manscaped.com and use code BG20 for 20% off, free shipping, and a free gift. You can't beat that, guys. Get your ass outside, go walk around the block, and then increase it. Go to the gym, go hit the heavy bag, maybe lift a weight or 2. You don't have to turn into some yoked Chad. You just gotta do something and feel good and let people know that, hey, I care about myself. But once you get out there, you're getting the sunshine on you, you're gonna feel good. It's gonna lead to better things, trust me. See, now that you're looking good, you're feeling good, you're a little bit more active, which is gonna make you feel good as well. It's time to finally put yourself out there. It's time for you to actually talk to these girls, right? Not be a fucking weirdo, not be a creep, but just talk to them. One of the best ways to practice is using one of those social dating websites. I say dating websites because it's just good practice to talk to people. In real life is a hell of a lot more challenging, especially in the current climate. I understand that, but just like playing video games, you played enough to get good, and just like this, you talk to enough people to get good, so you can talk to enough women to feel confident. You said you're looking good, you're feeling good, and then you talk to them, they're gonna notice that you feel good about yourself, and then you'll probably can make a connection from there. It's pretty simple, man. I got your guys' back. If anybody here, if there's just 2%, probably less than that, any of you can benefit from this, then my work here is done. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really do. And if you did, please hit the like button, share it if you're daring, subscribe if you're new, and I want to give a big shout out to my mega sexy patrons. You guys are the absolute best. You're keeping me afloat. All you patrons are awesome, but the mega sexy ones are the tippy top. And if you guys want to be a patron of mine, you guys want to support my channel in any way, shape, or form, links in the description below, along with the Manscaped. Appreciate you guys, appreciate all of you. And I never know how to end these correctly. Don't kill people. Sup, you beautiful hoes. Welcome back to the Philip the Blacko Show, and let's just jump into your bank account because I want your money.